Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the third video on this castle that I've tried to do, and hopefully the first one was just like a propaganda video that had no words and didn't tell you any history on it whatsoever. The second one just kind of was a little bit too long for me. So we're going to go with this one from Scotland Unplugged, and it is, I'm going to butcher this word, Caerlaverock Castle and Clan Maxwell. I guess we'll find out here soon how to say it, or I will. And I will link this video in the description along with links to Patreon and how you can support the channel right here on YouTube. But let's go ahead and get into it.
This is Caerlaverock Castle, near Dumfries, and as you can see, it's pretty unique.
It's the only triangular castle in Scotland and the wider UK, and one of only a handful in the world. In fact, we don't actually know how many there are because it's hard to get everyone to agree what a castle is.
Everyone goes to Edinburgh, Loch Lomond, Loch Ness, Glencoe and Skye, even me. But then we all wind up stepping on each other's toes, and we miss stuff like this.
Caerlaverock Castle was built by the Maxwell family, who lived here from the 13th to the 17th century, particularly turbulent times in our history. And because of where it is, near the border with England, it's taken a bit of a pounding over those nearly 400 years. There is another older Caerlaverock Castle 200 metres that way, but it's a boring old square, and it's thought they might not have even finished it before they got to work on this one.
Boring old square is probably a bit of an exaggeration. It's thought the original might have formed part of a harbour, and that it was probably abandoned because it was built on clay. Alexander II granted the land to Sir John Maxwell in around 1220, and you can still see the foundations in the line of towers.
As my dad would say, it's not what you start in life, it's what you finish.
Sir John's brother, Sir Aymer, started this one, and it was completed in the 1270s, at which point his nephew moved in, just in time for the trouble to start.
Almost, I mean, from here, it almost looks like brick.
The garrison here attacked Lochmaben Castle to the north. That was occupied by an English force. And Edward I, yeah, that guy, marched north with his army in 1300. The English army laid siege to Caerlaverock, and we know quite a lot about who was there because they wrote a poem about it, which included a roll of arms describing all the knights and their exploits. There were 87 of them and 3,000 men, as well as siege engines, trebuchets, giant catapults used to pound the walls with stone. This place was a bit of a beast though, built from the local red sandstone.
When the force inside finally surrendered and marched out, there were only 60
That's why it's got that red tent. I haven't seen that before on a castle that we've watched, I don't think.
And Sir Eustace Maxwell did a grand job of flip-flopping his way through the Wars of Independence, supporting John Balliol, then getting paid by Edward II, then siding with Robert the Bruce. They were all at it. In the beginning, Robert the Bruce had been flip-flopper-in-chief. The castle was captured again in 1355 when Sir Eustace supported Edward Balliol, known as the Puppet King. It's seen some things, but even today this place is incredibly well preserved.
You cross the remaining moat to be greeted by two big defensive towers.
But the tower off to the right comes with more of a story.
This is Murdoch's Tower, named for Murdoch Stewart, Duke of Albany. Murdoch was a cousin of James I who governed while the king was held captive in England. And when the king was released, he kind of blamed him for dragging his heels and not negotiating his release quickly enough. We do know that Murdoch was held at Caerlaverock before his execution in Stirling in 1425. We don't know if it was in this tower, but we do know that where I'm standing right now was a pit prison. Would have been accessible at the time from a trapdoor above. Pretty grim. Sometimes you make YouTube videos and you wish there was no one around. Other times, you'd be grateful if there was someone kicking about. You can see more modern additions from the 1630s, fit for a well-to-do Renaissance family.
But it was religious Renaissance that had the biggest impact on the castle. During the 16th century, Scotland went through the Protestant Reformation.
The Maxwells stayed Catholic, and when the Protestant lords forced Mary Queen of Scots to abdicate in 1567, they supported her. Which is why another English force, led by the Earl of Sussex, laid siege to the castle again and blew up the gatehouse with gunpowder.
The 8th Lord was killed in a battle with the Johnstones. Then the 9th Lord took his revenge by murdering the Johnstones' chief, went on the run to France, and was finally beheaded in Edinburgh on the orders of another angry King James.
The 10th Lord married well. His wife was the cousin of one of James VI's favourites, and he wound up being the Earl of Nithsdale.
Which is when he built these swanky modern apartments.
They're known as the Nithsdale lodgings, and they were completed in 1634. All very fancy looking, with room for banqueting and showing off your newfound status. But that didn't last. In 1640, a letter warned the Earl of Nithsdale of the dainty fabric of his new lodgings. Later the same year, the Covenanter army laid siege to this place for 13 weeks, and the southeast tower just behind me and this curtain wall, or what's left of it, were destroyed, leaving a cutout that looks like an illustration from a history book. Pretty cool, almost as though it was planned that way. This is the bakehouse, and this well behind me is the reason that they were able to last out for 13 weeks. This would have been a busy place. The ovens in here would have had to cook 2 loaves of bread for everyone in here. People basically ran on carbohydrates in those days, which sounds fun, but definitely wouldn't fly with my wife.
The Earl and his family and a page
Different
were allowed to leave.
times.
But according to one source,
They needed
40 supporters were killed.
the carbs.
And that was it for Caerlaverock.
We don't need them so much for sitting
Maxwell's
around, do
carried
we?
on, and in 1715, William Maxwell, the 5th Earl of Nithsdale, got involved with the Jacobite uprising. He was captured in Preston, and on the 9th of February
like a
1716,
baby.
sentenced to death. His wife, Lady Winifred Maxwell, went to London to plead for his life in vain. Then she visited him in the Tower of London. She took her maid, and Sir William became the second most famous Jacobite to escape in drag.
The family's influence crossed Galloway, which is a relatively big area. At one time, they even owned the farm I grew up on and made quite a lot of money from smuggling, not while I was there. I've been meaning to come here for a while. I first saw this place on a local phone book, which tells you A, that I grew up round here, and B, that I'm quite old. Edinburgh Castle and Urquhart Castle and Eilean Castle are famous, but this is a bit more unusual. Historic sites in Scotland are kind of becoming victims of their own success, with excessive footfall. The first time I went to Culloden, I noticed that one of the gravestones was fenced off because the land round it had been damaged. The stone in question had the name Fraser on it. And while it's good to see these places, it's also good to spread the load a bit. You never know. You might discover something just a bit more interesting.
Well, that was good. That was a great video. I enjoyed that. He did a really good job showing all of the architecture of it while talking about all of the history. I enjoyed that. I'm gonna subscribe to him. And again, that was Scotland Unplugged. If you guys haven't heard of him before, maybe we could take a look at some more of his videos, because I think he did a fantastic job covering kind of all aspects of it, for what was left of it. But it was really cool seeing that stone fireplace and where they would cook and all that stuff. But yeah, I liked that a lot. I hope you guys did as well. If you did, hit the like button, hype it, subscribe, share, go check him out, and maybe we'll check out some more videos of him together. And yeah, I'll catch you guys with another castle later.